Here are 9 ideas for cakes for anyone who loves the colour pink. Starting with pink patterns, ombre is easy to create with just 3 shades of pink frosting. Spread the colours in bands around the cake so that the pink gets lighter or darker as you go down the cake, and then scrape around the cake with a frosting smoother to smooth it. Spread more frosting over any indents or gaps in the frosting, using a lighter or darker shade than the frosting there to make the blending of the shades of pink more gradual and subtle. Smooth the frosting or use a textured cake comb to add pleats or waves or any other texture. To create a watercolour effect, spread dollops of different shades of pink frosting over a cake on top of frosting that's already set. I left this cake in the fridge for an hour before adding the pink. Scrape around the cake with a frosting smoother to spread the pinks, blending them together. Spread on some more frosting anywhere where you can still see the white frosting underneath, and smooth again to completely cover the cake with different shades of pink. You can create pink stripes with just 2 piping bags, and you don't even need piping tips. After assembling your cake and covering it with a thin layer of frosting, called a crumb coat, pipe strips of colour around the cake, alternating between your 2 piping bags. If you want your stripes to be the same thickness, it's important that the holes you cut at the end of your piping bags are the same size. If you're enjoying this tutorial, please click the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel for a new cake decorating tutorial every week. And check out my online cake school. The link is in the top of the screen and in the video description. Smooth the frosting on the top of the cake first, and then scrape around the sides with a frosting smoother, and as you scrape again and again, you'll flatten the frosting, which will make it spread out to fill any gaps in between the stripes. You can create stripes with a cake comb. The stripes will be neater, but it's a bit more time-consuming. Spread your first colour thickly all over the cake, and then scrape around the cake with a frosting smoother to check the sides are straight. And then use a striped cake comb, scraping around the cake several times to imprint grooves in the frosting. Put the cake in the freezer for 15 minutes to chill this frosting, and then spread pink frosting all over it, or pipe it into the grooves using a piping bag if you prefer. Scrape around the cake to take off the excess pink frosting, which will spread it everywhere and it will look messy, but keep scraping and the stripes will get clearer and neater until they're perfect. Add a really interesting pattern using bubble wrap. Taping it onto acetate makes this easier, but it's not essential. Spread pink frosting over the bubble wrap, after washing it of course, and then wrap it around a cake with the frosting pressed against the cake. Press it firmly against the cake to attach it, and then chill the cake in the freezer for 15 minutes. Peel the bubble wrap off and then spread a different shade of pink frosting over the cake, or use several shades. This new pink frosting will fill in the holes from the bubble wrap. Freezing the cake for a few minutes will have made the bubble wrap frosting firm, so it won't blend together with this new pink frosting. Scrape around the cake a few times to take off the excess frosting, and ta-da! You can spread melted chocolate onto bubble wrap too, chilling it and then peeling it off to make matching cake toppers for a fun bubble wrap patterned cake. Cover a cake with pink roses, using a star-shaped tip like a 1M tip. Fill piping bags with different shades of pink frosting and pipe rosettes onto the cake, starting in the middle of the rose and spiralling outwards. At the same time as you stop squeezing the piping bag, swipe the bag away from the cake and that will leave a neat edge to the frosting rose. Pipe roses to cover the entire sides of the cake, and if there are any gaps in between the roses, squeeze a little dot of frosting to make star blossoms to cover up the gap. You can pipe roses onto the top of the cake too. Another way to pipe flowers onto a cake is to use flower nozzles or Russian tips. Place a piping bag into a glass to hold it open, and spread pink frosting around the inside of the bag, and then fill it with another shade of pink. The flowers will look really eye-catching with a variety of colour combinations and different piping tips. Squeeze the frosting through the piping tip, and every petal of the flower will be created with just one squeeze. And by using different colours within the piping bag, the flowers will be multicoloured. You can add leaves with a leaf piping tip, like a number 352, and just add a few flowers for texture and decoration, or cover the entire cake with flowers. Pipe pink texture onto the inside of a cake by using the piping as filling between cake layers. This is called a naked cake because there won't be any frosting on the outside, which means it's really easy and quick to make. The piping provides colour and texture, so you don't need any other decorations on the cake, but sprinkles on top can add a nice finishing touch. Using a similar technique, create a pink number cake by carving a number out of a rectangular sheet cake, twice to make 2 layers of cake. Pipe frosting onto the first layer of cake, starting at the outer edge of the cake so that that part is the neatest, since it's the only part that will be visible once the cake is assembled. Place the next layer of cake on top and cover that layer with piping too, and you can add any decorations you like on top, like these chocolate hearts. Thanks for watching. Visit my online cake school for lots of cake design ideas and techniques, and join my club for access to all of my classes. The link for my cake school is in the top of the screen and in the video description.